Hi there, welcome to Don's Workshop. This is part 9 of my Lamborghini Countach build. Got the front fenders on last time and a little bit of the front grille. Now we're going to continue. Okay, looks like I got everything sorted here, so let's get started. Now, today, just going to talk about like setting up local models, like what you can do now with some of the AI tools, you kind of like on your own hardware where you don't have to use the actual web clients from those big vendors. Now, one of the things that made a bit of a difference for me, or was the big difference for me for deciding to kind of look into AI a lot more, was when the M4 chip came out for the Mac Mini. So when that happened, and I was seeing like some of the testing people were doing with running the local LLMs, like would have been, I guess, the big one that kind of caught everyone's attention was, of course, it was DeepSeek, right? When DeepSeek came out and you realized you could run that on a machine like a Mac Mini with those M4 chips, that I think kind of became a game changer in making those tools easily available to run on, I guess would be essentially cheaper hardware, because you didn't need an NVIDIA card to do that, which was then back in like November, December. It's hard to do. It's still hard to find, and I don't think it's going to get any easier to find those chips anytime soon. I don't know if NVIDIA can produce more of those chips, or if it's just going to take, like how long it's going to take them to ramp up. And it's TSMC is producing all these chips for both Apple and NVIDIA, which makes it even more like, who's gonna, like, is TSMC creating in more factories, like enough of these factories to produce chips for this? Because I don't see how we're gonna get up to a point where graphics cards, like cutting edge graphics cards, are going to make sense for people to have for some time again. Like it used to be you would probably not need a cutting edge graphics card. Like there was no real need for a cutting edge graphics card for a long time, right? You weren't running cutting edge graphics on your Commodore 64, your Apple IIe or whatever. You were running whatever you could find to run on it, and you were usually just happy to have those things run. Now, if you want that cutting edge graphics card, you're competing with the likes of these AI companies now to get that silicone, and you're also there. You still have the cryptocurrencies stuff going on. Like it's the most useless use of resources I can think of. Like there's nothing more useless than these cryptocurrencies, generating cryptocurrencies, just using electricity and this silicone to generate cryptocurrency. Just absolutely useless. At some point, some government, ideally it would be the Chinese government, would just ban it, so that all the technology that they are developing, and they're going to push those resources into something useful, like developing better AI technology and using those resources for people to use the AI technology to actually build things, instead of just making fake currency, which, as a lot of people are finding out, is a scam most of the time now. It's at least turned into that. I mean, the premise of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin was interesting. It's an interesting idea that, okay, you decentralize currency. But at this point, I don't see it as being useful at all. Like these meme coins, all this junk that's coming out, it doesn't help anything. It's making them worse. If you were just focused on like one like Bitcoin, then maybe you could make an argument for continuing supporting like that cryptocurrency. But all these other nonsense ones waste so many resources that, you know, we have something more useful to use that energy on now. Let's use it for that. Let's stop wasting our time with cryptocurrency already. And then maybe we can also enjoy some people being able to play some games in the meantime, not be absolutely throttled by all this waste of resources. And with AI, yes, it uses a lot of energy as well, but this is early days, and early days always is that you don't know. And don't forget, the Chinese are also huge developers of solar power. And solar power is going to be what will power AI. And because the United States has, fell so far behind, and they are essentially going backwards now on the development of solar power, China is going to take the lead on that, because you need the energy. You still need the energy to power the AI tools that going forward is the way I see it. And some other people see that too. Like obviously you got some of these companies that are buying these nuclear plants, reactivating old nuclear plants to power AI data centers. Like that is happening, and those will even take a little while to get online. Even ones that they've only decommissioned recently, like it's still going to be. I didn't do that. No, that's the right way. Is that the right way? No, it's not. That way. The amount of power that's going to be needed going forward is going to be quite high. So either the rest of us are going to suffer with just higher electricity prices, or solar is going to is going to take over like way more places than in everything. Everyone's going to be just pushing solar. The countries that are pushing solar are going to be in a huge advantage in as far as powering AI tools. So well, that's a nice build here. So yeah, I kind of started off talking about like, okay, you're gonna run your LLM on your own machine, and that's where the Apple, the M4 chips are really like useful there. It's nice that there's lots of tools for doing that with the Ollama and LM Studio, but it's also good that there are actually lots of available models. And although they aren't the cutting edge ones, it's valuable because you can always find efficiency. And like what the Chinese researchers found with DeepSeek is like important, that there's always efficiencies to be found in technology. Right now you still have a lot of inefficiency in the AI usage, and as more people start trying out their own models, like they don't want to pay $200 a month for some of these models, for OpenAI or for Anthropic, then they are going to start. You're going to start seeing some more improvements in some of these like self-hosted options, right? That you can just download a model that is going to be still super effective at actually doing what you want it to do. And I think what is going to happen is, like, you can use the more powerful models to figure out how to make these self-hosted models better. And I see that we're going to see, or I think that we're going to see something come out of Microsoft allowing the VS Code open sourcing of some of the functionality around these AI tools. I really think that'll be a game changer if people figure out how to effectively use that, right? Ooh, that's a headlight. There we go. That fits nicely. You can still kind of see a little bit of that plate underneath there, though. Okay, now the other side. Oh, there it is. So I haven't tried using the locally hosted models too much. For actual work, I'm kind of figuring out more how to effectively use the models in the first place to be somewhat more efficient. And then I think I'm going to give a try of actually using a local model to see if it makes any difference. I think that you need to have that more efficient workflow in the first place. Using the more powerful models to figure that out first is a good way, and you can try to translate that into using the less powerful one to get you just as much functionality as the more powerful one. And if it's self-hosted, that is essentially saving you, or saving whoever is using such a model, a lot of money, right? You could save yourself a lot of extra cost just by being able to use a self-hosted model. But what I'm hoping it's just the agents. Like, agents are like really good. I really like the agent functionality. That is something I'm going to have to either figure out, or I found out today there's a GitHub project working on this to be able to have the agent functionality, essentially open source agent functionality available. So I'll have to check that out and see what that looks like, if that's actually what I think it is and not something else. But because that could be, I think that is where things will go. It's just everything's moving so fast, right? In this space, first it's a novelty, and then you actually try to figure out how to use it and find, like, oh, this is actually quite a powerful tool, right? So now we have to put that there. Oh, I'm supposed to hook that. Okay, let's do that first. Yeah, so this is another thing that I've been curious about, because I know some people have actually tried to use some AI tools to generate a Lego build. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to be very good at that. Mostly because you don't have, it's the space, right? You need to have the information of all the pieces, which is very much required in whatever you're trying to do. And how do you get that information without trying to scrape it off Bricklink? You could maybe dump it out by just getting one of each piece or something like that. So you can dump it all out and get that data into the model so you have that information. But to try to have it build something, I'm just not really I think somebody will get there. I just think the company that's best positioned to do that is Lego. It's Lego themselves. So I don't think anyone else is really well positioned to do something like that because Lego has all the data. So that has been part 9 of my Lamborghini Countach build. We finished off the front hood here, looking very nice there. It's very smooth, all lines up for the most part, and as well as those headlights. And we got the windshield in action too, kind of smoothed off the top of the roof here. Anyway, if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take it easy.